Hey guys, welcome everybody. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, Homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers, and everybody who has changed the game in R&B. Now, y'all know I'm excited about this episode because this episode means a lot to me, but not even that. I have a legend on here, a multi-platinum legend on here. This man has been a producer. He's been an engineer, aka young doctor of music. I have to really put that out there. I'm just honored to have you on the platform because your legacy has been so big in the 90s and really important in the 90s, Mr. Sprague. But not even that, you have really changed my life in so many ways from this album that we're going to be discussing today. But I have to give you your flowers, sir, to give you so much respect and honor on my platform. This man, the one, the only Mr. Sprague Doogie Williams. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What's up? Thank you for having me.
Yes, look, I was excited about this episode because this is Usher. Well, Usher, that's what we call him.
You said it right. I'm gonna boy. You said it right, Usher.
Right. It's Sprague.
You said it right.
Right, Sprague. I was 8 years old when he first came out. Well, when I first was introduced to him.
Right.
At this time, but I couldn't really say Usher at the time because when you're young, I know how to pronounce things. So when you have the honor of people like that, you try to give them little nicknames, and I guess he just took his nickname with him since this album. But Mr. Usher ran before. But I'm just so excited to honor you today because we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Usher's sophomore album, My Way. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Like I said, thank you for having me. It's always good to get, say accolades, but it's better to get them when you're still around. A lot of people get them when they're gone.
Come on.
So I love, saying when, people, say come back and say, I remember that record did something for me, or that record was great for me. Because, saying that's one of the things about me being in the business is like, I wanted to leave a mark on the industry. That was my thing when I was younger. Saying when I got in, I said, I want to leave a mark on the industry. I ain't did everything I want to do yet, but I'm saying we going.
Come on. And that's what it's all about because at the end of the day, like I said, when you can make an impact like myself, listening to your music, well, when I was 8 / 14, 15, as the years have gone by, it goes to show you when you're touching young people like myself from the youth at the time in the 90s, it was so huge back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, for me to still remember Usher's My Way album, even though, I was so young, I didn't even know this was his sophomore album. I thought this was his debut because at the time when we first got to know Usher, he was like, 14, 15, but really with this album, I call it his comeback album.
Yes, he was.
We'll get into depth about that. But before we do get started, I wanted to ask you, how have you been doing since the pandemic has happened? I know it's been crazy and stuff, but I always do a mental check-in on my guests. How have you been?
It's been cool. I mean, the pandemic, kind of made people, including myself, saying reassess some things. And, saying for myself, it's like it made me jump back harder into what I was doing music-wise. And, say I put my studio together, which we have behind me. I've always been working at someone else's spot, but, finally, because of the pandemic, I had to break down and, lock in and put me together so I could just get back in, hard, like I was doing before.
Come on, that's right, because we need the real R&B music back. You know what I'm saying? And Sprague, because right.
Oh.
Come on, you already, Usher already said his little words and sentiments of state of R&B, but it's people like your music that resonates still to this day that they still talk about because of real R&B music of what y'all held in the 90s was just so authentic and real. I think the thing about is we're missing that in the youth about the real authenticity, and so people like yourself, you can be that one to kind of, really bring it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a thing where, the younger guys, they don't. It's like I had teaching. I had people that were around. So it's like, and once I got into the industry itself, I was kind of like thrown in at a young age too.
Right.
But once I got in, and it's like, you had mentors that were real professionals, the Babyface, the Teddy, you know what I'm saying, 𝗵𝗲𝗵𝗆.
Yep.
I had mentors that were like, they were already in the game. They were like professionals. So saying I came from church, so I was always extra when I first came in. So they taught you how to calm it down and project what you needed to do through records. So so it's a blessing, and I think the kids need that. Like they don't it's like we had that. I don't think the kids now have that. You know what I'm saying? Like
No.
look for the Rodney Jerkins, the Brian Cox, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? The Jermaine Dupri's, people like myself. You know what I'm saying? Other producers that you know what I'm saying that have been legends
Right.
to bring like the next generation up, and they don't really have that platform because the industry changed. So it's not like they have deals. Like Teddy had a deal that made sense for me to be there.
Right.
Like I don't think the producers now have those kind of label deals to develop artists. I think that part is missing. I think that's missing. So we have to take it upon ourselves to get new young producers that's wanting to come up in the game, showing some things. Of course, they're gonna do themselves. They're gonna do themselves. If it's trap R&B, if I show you something for the '90s, then you know how to mesh it together with '90s and trap and still have that same flavor. So I think that's part of what what I'm saying, what it is. And of course, the young cats don't think you respect them because but I respect them. I respect them. I'm saying their game. I just try to show up some things that help elevate their thing to another level, which is like some show.
Exactly. And I agree with that because, like I said, what you're trying to do is, it sounds like you're trying to bridge the gap together with both, sides of the coin, and it makes sense because we need that now. Because, like I said, it's nothing against trap music. Like I said, it's not going nowhere. It's definitely kind of here to stay. Yeah. But I do feel that you really need the authenticity of what it was in the past to kind of go through. Because, like we always say, sound change, music change, everything changes as time goes on. But when you have real people that have made legendary stuff, why not reach out to them? You know what I'm saying? That's all I say. But I do notice something that you do kind of reach out and make sure that, they try to ask y'all for advice. Because I've seen on a lot of times for a lot of up-and-coming producers who now have made hits for certain people. But I feel like, too, you have to come from the beginning and then come to the present. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's funny because, like I run into guys that's like producers. They call me, they call me old head, or they call me uncle. And so they have that kind of attitude, that little chip on their shoulder. They show them something about their stuff that they never know
right
to do. You know what I'm saying? So then you get a different respect. So you know what I'm saying? So show them something sonically that, hey, if you did this, it make your beat hit harder. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, hey, ain't nobody never showed me that before. So they give you a different respect
as a
producer versus, oh, I'm old head on I'm just giving them some advice, but I'm old school. So we in the new age. You know what I'm saying? So I show them too. I can do what you do too. You know what I'm saying? And my joke will hit harder than yours. So that kind of, that kind of give them that, like, okay, like, well, wait a minute, he old head, but he can be competition too. So let me see something from him, so I can take my stuff to the next level to put me above some of the cats that's out here.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much. Well, before we do get started about who you are as a person, your legacy career, I want to play a game with you. So, Sprague, I got a game for you. So I want to ask you, this game is called Who or What Was Your Favorite Person to Work With, or What You Done to Work With. It's kind of like guess like one or the other, or not even that, just people that you dealt with in your career, or not even that things that you have done that you like more than the other. So are you ready to play this game and see what I got in store for you, sir?
Let's do it.
All right, so the first one is Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston?
Absolutely Michael Jackson. Absolutely.
Wow. How was it? I know you worked with him on Blood on the Dance Floor. How was it working with Michael? Did you ever get to meet Michael? How was that experience like?
Me and Michael had a really cool friendship. You know what I'm saying? Because I was not only just a producer, but I was Teddy Riley's keyboard tech. So
right hand man.
Every time we worked with Michael, I worked with Michael on the Blood on the Dance Floor project, of course, which was supposed to be a different album, which he did later. You know what I'm saying? The 2000 album.
Oh, you talking about Invincible?
When he went back R&B, we were trying to take him back to that R&B edge, you know what I'm saying, on that album, but he decided to go back to some of the older stuff he wanted to do. So I only got to do the Blood on the Dance Floor project, but we did a bunch of demos for a new project, you know what I'm saying? So we had a good friendship, and then the Addams Family movie. So
oh yeah, you did.
So at that, so that's when I first met him. So that was that was kind of like it was crazy and exciting at the same time, because like that's one of my people of all time, of course, King. So we were in LA and it's just Teddy and I, and you know, saying they had the studio shut down. Studio, what's the studio? Was it it's gonna come to me in a second, right? So we had the studio shut down. So Michael Jackson brought all these video games in, and I tell my friends this story because I've been having them laughing. So we had the video games in, and everybody know I'm a video game head. I love video games. So he had the room blacked out, so nobody know who was in there. I'm in there playing a video game because I'm like, you know, one of the only people that had permission to go in the studio. So I'm playing this game, and then like, you know, since somebody come in the room, like, you mind if I play? So I'm not paying attention to the voice, and like they start playing. So then they like, oh, go over there, oh, go over there. So like so now I'm looking down because, you know what I'm saying, at first I'm looking at the screen try to play the game, but then I look down and I see these pale hands. I'm like, who pale ass hands are these? Like, I'm saying to myself, who pale? I was like, boy, I'm silly too. So I'm like, who pale ass hands? I'm saying. So when I look in the glass, I see it's Michael Jackson. So now I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of like freaking out a little bit because of Michael Jackson. So so you know what I'm saying, we playing the games, of course. You know what I'm saying, we both get killed and we go to the studio and we start working. So Teddy goes like, you know what I'm saying, he goes, yo, Teddy, this is Sprague, this is my sister Sprague, you know what I'm saying. He said, oh yeah, I met him in the video room or whatever. So he said, and Teddy's looking at me like, you bet they're playing games, you supposed to be in here. But you know what I'm saying, he's like, you know, so yeah, he said, you'll like him, he's cool, he know how to dance. He's go, really? He can dance? I said, he told some, show me a dance. I was like, Mike, come on, man.
Right, that part.
Just a dance, so you know dance when you're a kid. But you know what I'm saying, he was like, we had a good friendship, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was impressed that he knew my voice.
Wow.
I love anything, you know what I'm saying? And he always took a take it to me. When we left the studio, you know what I'm saying, Larrabee Studios, the studio in LA.
Okay.
When we left the studio that session, Teddy and I were going back to the hotel, and Michael goes, so he said, so what are you guys riding in? So Teddy goes, you know, oh, we riding in that. It was like a little small Mercedes-Benz SLK. I don't know if you remember that little small coupe. So Michael goes, oh no, he can't ride in that. He's much too big for that. So I was like, oh, Mike, you got jokes? You got jokes, Mike? Okay. But man, he always took a liking to me. He bought me my first PlayStation.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I had I was in the Sega Saturn, and he asked me did I know what what PlayStation was. And then the next day, when we were working on that at the Dead Blood on the Dashwell Avenue in New York, when I came in the studio, he had a PlayStation with all these games on the table with my name on it. So we, like I said, we had a really good, really cool relationship, man. I really miss him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I was like, yo, I can't wait till I get a chance to work with him again. But, you know, hey,
yeah,
I have the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to work with him.
Okay, look, God put it in your place, and that's why I say no matter what is happening, I mean, you forever in His catalog, so you good.
Absolutely.
All right, so next one. Do you like producing or engineering?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's a hard one right there.
Uh-oh.
That's a hard one because it's like they both entwining with each other so hard. Mm-hmm. Musically, I was just okay. I get well. I don't know, because you get to work with people. Sometimes I'm just doing it. I'm just myself. I'm gonna go with the producer. I'm gonna rock with the producer. I'm gonna go with the producer because I get the, what I'm saying, the engineering. You know what I'm saying, it's a little engineering is less stressful sometimes. But I'm gonna rock with the producer side.
That's what's up. Well, okay. I figured that you was gonna pick producer. Well, at first I thought because you've been doing so much in engineering, I was like, well, he may do engineering. But I mean, like I said, you did great on Hot Wheels, so that's what we're gonna get ready to talk about today, because that's my heart. That's my number one.
Yes,
so.
Sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So next one, look, Sprague, look, the first one was kind of hard. I know that one was gonna be super difficult because I know you work with icons and greats, but these is rap icon goats. So MC Hammer or LL Cool J?
LL Cool J.
Oh, my family is obsessed with them. Obsessed with him. Really.
That's my dude. L is L. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when I left Ted, we were planning on doing some stuff together. It just didn't work out that way, but you know, but that's my dude. You know what I'm saying? We have creatively, we have, you know what I'm saying, we have a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? MC Hammer is more like, you know, I was in the studio, silly, and I'm working. I just, you know, kind of like, you know, we were around each other, but I didn't build a relationship with him.
Oh, okay. I love both of them because mind you, like I said, my family, we are Team LL. But like I said, MC Hammer is a GOAT because one thing I always tell people all the time, just because people think he quote unquote didn't make the rap he made, that man is a legend. Because without him, we wouldn't have music to cross over. Come on, speaking Sprague, y'all know you gotta say.
Absolute. Listen, now, they can't play with the man. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying, I used to be on the road with them too, like on the road with, you know, the guy, you know what I'm saying, and MC Hammer. We had battles every night.
Oh,
so you know, when you left an MC Hammer concert, you was tired. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you was tired. He had you on the floor the whole time. He had people wearing come on, he had people wearing baggy pants. You know what I'm saying? Doing the tight rider. You know, come on now, having people getting permed. He had people getting perms and all. You know what I'm saying? They can't play with that man like that.
Okay.
Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? He definitely is a GOAT in his category.
Come on.
They don't need to play with him like that.
Okay, because he brought business in the industry before we knew what business was in hip hop. Let's be real.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he definitely would give you the business. He'd give you business in the concert and give you the business outside of the concert.
Okay, look. See, right, thank you. I knew you were gonna know because everybody think he's weak. I'm like, nah, MC Hammer is that dude.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now the next one, my fourth one. Now this is gonna be kind of hard because I know you're very close with these two gentlemen, but I wanted to ask you, which one? Is it gonna be Case or Dave Hollister?
Woo! Case Boogie.
Which one?
Case Boogie.
What? Case? I love Case too, but I just said, wow. That's
my listen. Me and Case is woo. I can't even tell nothing.
Right.
That's listen.
Yeah, you really started his career out too. Personal comments. That was a rap.
Yes, sir. That's my. You know what I'm saying? That's my dude.
Oh.
We still talk. You know what I'm saying? We still talk on the regular. You know what I'm saying? I talk to Dave every now and then when I see him, but you know what I'm saying? Me and Case, we like.
I like it. Oh.
That's my dude.
Oh, he's a real sweet dude. I know he's come on my page to support me. He's really, really nice. When it comes down to his legacy, like, he don't play about that. And that's one thing I respect about him because Case is a super talented dude that really don't get his stripes. And that's why I knew people like him. I'm so happy to talk about him because Case is really a legend in this industry, you know?
Yes, sir. And he's a Libra, so let me come on.
Oh, Lord, I'm going to
he was in the house. Put the hands up, baby.
Thank you for that. Okay, so now the last one. I think I may know what you're gonna pick, but we're gonna see. All right, is it gonna be New Kids on the Block or Blackstreet?
Oh, this was Blackstreet. You already know what that is. That's
I already knew that's what I was like.
I helped made them. No,
right.
I helped made them.
Well, I have a question. How was it interacting with New Kids on the Block?
New Kids on the Block was cool. It's like, you know, pretty much like any other artists that we work with. You know what I'm saying? They came down and we did what we did. You know what I'm saying? But Blackstreet,
yeah,
you know, I have made them on every level.
You did.
From being on the road to being friends to being coaching them sessions, producing vocals, mixing. You know what I'm saying? Every level of Blackstreet. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing. That's why I figured I was like, he's on Blackstreet.
that's home right there. You know what I'm saying? I see them every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like my brothers. So.
Oh, well, that is so sweet. Well, thank you for that. Since we played all this great game, thank you so much, Sprague. I had to kind of do a little warm up on you, have fun, but these were some great stories, and I just love how the way you just talked about it. But I just had to do because, like I said, this is what I want people to understand about your legacy. Like, you have done so much iconic stuff, and not even that, this game is really showing people that this is a man that really, really has taken his craft seriously to making a sound for people and changing their lives in so many ways. So thank you for that.
Yep, definitely got a couple of anniversaries. I saw you put up 𝗪𝗏, which is
oh yeah, 𝗪𝗏, yeah, happy 25 for that, sir.
That's you know what I'm saying. That's like I had to like the single. That's the Distant Lover. That's my record. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was a single.
And so it's like so like it was great working with her. So it's like, and then of course the Blackstreet album. You know. So hey, so it was a good year. Those were some good years. 96.
The 90s was the best years of my life. Look, so I know.
𝗵2 was 𝗪𝗏𝗵 project. Yeah, 𝗪𝗏𝗵. Yeah. I mean, it's been some good. That's a good run.
You had an amazing run. That's why I just have to give you so much respect. So thank you so much. So now, we're going to get started about who you are as a person. I want to let these people know who you are, but I don't know where you're from. But I know you are from Columbus, Georgia. Man, there's a lot of legends from Georgia. Like, y'all, Georgia's like really the state to be with music. I'm not going to lie. It is.
We got a lot of legends down there, you know. So you know, we had like my whole little crew was like we all succeeded in what we were doing. So it's great to know, you know what I'm saying, know that about, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That I was around. It's like we are all destined to be where we were.
Definitely, and that's why I'm so excited about talking about that with you. So I know you're from Columbus, Georgia. So I'm going to ask you, like, how was it growing up there? And like, what was your inspirations of like R&B music? Like, who were you inspired by? And not even that, like, what made you influence? And who were some of your favorite R&B artists in this thing when you were growing
up? So me, when I was in Columbus, you know, what I'm saying, at home, I was a series of travel church board in. So it was a hard like commission, and you know, saying Take Six, and you know, the Clark sisters.
Come on, yes.
Daryl Coley, Andre Crouch. It's like, you know, so that during that time when I was, you know, home, it was a lot of trips. You know what I'm saying? Then I started running across friends in school, people like Dallas Austin, Walter Scott, Mucho, Spec, KB, which is
Basic Black.
You know what I'm saying? Spec lived around the corner from me. We both went to the same high school, and so did Dallas and I. So, you know, it's crazy that, you know, me and Dallas used to have these little beat battles back in the day. He used to have this little boss drum machine, and I had the little roller. So we would like compare beats and talk about what we're gonna do as producers. You know what I'm saying? When I was in high school, and then Trump started it out. You know, he left first, and he got things moving. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, he can do it, I can do it. So, you know, it was like a little competition thing. So when I linked up with Basic Black, who was a group at the time.
Yep. I interviewed them.
Doing a lot of things, you know, saying locally, and we got the opportunity. So it's like, you know, so another person too, Kim Porter, you know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying, rest in peace to her.
Yes.
She's like, yo, I'm going to move to New York. And when I finally did get to New York, I run into her, and she's like, what you doing in my city? I said, well, I'm part of the city now. So so to know that, you know what I'm saying, that like the little crew, my crew of, you know what I'm saying, people that I was around as a young person, we all kind of made it, and, you know what I'm saying, and was successful in our own right, you know what I'm saying, and what we were doing. But like I said, that was kind of like, you know, the start of my music stuff. I've always been in music from church. I started out with, you know, saying drums, then I went to bass, and then my, you know, saying my whole family is singers and instrumentalists. So so I went from drums to bass, from bass to guitar for a little while, and then I was like, okay, well, nobody played keyboard, so I decided, let me learn how to play keyboards. So it transitioned to that, and you know what I'm saying, because during that time also I was super heavy into art, so I was more like the art person than the music person that you know, during those years. But music was always entrenched to me. I just did it, you know, I did it because that's what we did, you know what I'm saying. I used to sing, and so it's like, you know, all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, helped me later, you know what I'm saying, once I got, you know what I'm saying, out, you know what I'm saying, into the industry. But those were like a lot of my influences, you know what I'm saying. On the R&B tip, of course, Michael Jackson, Prince, the Silvers, Stevie Wonder, who else? I was kind of into like, you know, saying the Commodores. Stuff like that. I was kind of into like the band stuff, you know what I'm saying, during those years.
𝗪𝗏𝗴, all the instrumentation.
You know what I'm saying, of course, you know what I'm saying, George Clinton, you gotta have that funk.
Parliament.
I'm from Georgia, so you know you gotta have that funk. And then, so the king of the country swing is James Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like my auntie had these James Brown records, and you better not touch them. She'll kill you. But we used to listen to them on Saturdays.
Oh.
The house on Saturday, she'd be playing. She'll play records, and then you know, so we listen to James Brown on Saturday. I used to go to my aunt's house. But you better not ever touch one of them records, but she'll knock your whole lights out.
That is so great. Thank you so much for that. And that makes a lot of sense because when you say you're heavily influenced by sound and music, you named a lot of people that really influenced that. Prince, you know what I'm saying, Parliament and all that stuff like that. But it goes to show you that the thing about it is you were really investing in your craft. And like I said, you talk about Dallas Austin. Bbasic Black, I had them on my show. Very, very beautiful gentlemen. Very, very sweet.
Yeah, great brothers.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they just got sampled by Megan Thee Stallion. So, like, you know, their music is coming back too. So, listen to stuff like that. People are influenced by 90s stuff. And I wanted to ask you because now we're kind of getting around because you were just talking about in the place of you know, getting into the 90s and stuff like that, talking with Dallas Austin, stuff like that. How did you get in with Teddy Riley? Because I think it was in 1992. I don't know if y'all, did you end up meeting him with Bbasic Black or how was that, or was it with Today?
Well, actually, like that scenario was with Bbasic Black. So how it happened, Bbasic Black was a local band. So yeah, we got an opportunity to open up for Guy.
Oh.
So Guy came to town, and then like we were like, you know, practicing to open up for them. So we ended up playing like Keith Sweat stuff. So I gotta say this, okay. So before that happened, when I was working, I was listening to Keith Sweat and Guy, and I was telling myself, I was like, who is the person producing these records? Like that sound. For some reason that like super resonated with me, right? So I was like, yo, I was telling God, I was like, God, I would love to work with that person. Like that because it resonated so much with me. So we got an opportunity to open up with Guy as a band. So while we were opening up, like Guy's band came out to watch us play. So we were like, oh, that's kind of, you know, that's cool. So after the show was over, we was like, yo, they was like, you know, saying, y'all did good, man. We be seeing a lot of people that's playing, you know, saying Keith Sweat stuff, but they ain't never playing the right chords. So they was like, oh, I was playing the right chords. Y'all did good, man. Y'all sounded good. So we did Keith Sweat. We did Bobby Brown. So when they did that, you know, saying they told Gene about the group before them getting to Columbus. Today's band had got fired.
What?
So their band got fired. So we went to meet Gene and Teddy at the hotel, and Gene was like, you know, hey, you know, the band told me about y'all guys. Y'all guys was dope. This, that, and the third. He's like, y'all, you know, would y'all be interested in being in the band for today? We were like, oh yeah, oh absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, well, if y'all get to New York, do this audition. If y'all get to New York and make it, then y'all can be, you know what I'm saying, Bbasic Black band.
Now it makes sense how y'all tied together.
Right. So we go to New York. You know, we go to New York and then we take it with our friends with us. This young lady named Lucretia. So we do the audition. Everything's good. They like us. They decide to keep the band. They have one situation that we got to deal with, which is either the girl in the band or me. So like that, because they kept one of the guys from the previous band. So they kept him. His name Ray Watkins, my brother Ray Watkins. So it's like, okay. So they asked the group, like, what y'all want to do? What y'all want to do? You want to keep the girl, or you want to keep Sprague? So then they asked Today. Today was like, they still sound good, but it'd be dope to have a girl in the band. Ain't nobody got no girl in the band. So I kind of, okay, all right. You know, say about to be curtains. You know, say they gonna pick the girl. So they end up picking the girl, and they was like, well, you know, say, well, we'll get you back to Columbus. So, you know, of course, you know, I'm sad. I'm like, dang, man, I got an opportunity to work with them, saw them, all sad. And my brother, Randy Hutchinson, who played drums with 𝗀𝗏 Sweat, who was a guy at the time, he was like, yo, bro, it's like, he said, what's going on with you? He's like, I said, I'm going back to Columbus. He said, why you going back home? I said, because, you know, they kept the girl and I, you know. He goes, well, just because you didn't get the band, you going back home? He said, why don't you be a tech? Why don't you be a roadie? I have no idea what that, I don't know what that is. You know, I'm super green. I don't have no idea what that is. So he's like, why don't you be a roadie? Because there's going to be plenty of bands. I said, okay, well, that's cool. So I said something to Gene about it. Gene go like, you think you can do the roadie stuff? So the guy that they kept from the other band go, he's like, well, you know how it is, man. Got 15 minutes. You know, we should take no chances with stuff like that. Gene asked me to go back and sit with the head tech for a guy and, you know, let him show me how to do it. And if I could do it, then they give me the gig. So now what happens is I go right there. You know what I'm saying? God is in play, because that's what happened. God is in play.
Right.
I'm looking at this stuff, and it's like, when I tell you, it's like ABC 1, 2, 3. I thought, okay, I can do that. So he shows me, he run me through everything, he unplug it, I put it back, everything worked. He comes out and tells Gene, like, oh, he got it, man. He got it. He good. Ooh. Now my crew just stick up with me. None of my crew stuck up with me. None of them. I was like, yeah.
Why?
I mean, I guess it was the situation at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you think he can do it? They're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Like jealousy.
They really didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't, but like I said, God was in play. That's
right.
You'll get it. So we're in New York, which is like the roadie headquarters of the world. There's roadies everywhere. But when Gene was like, well, we can't find nobody, you're gonna be it. So now they put out the call, they put out the blast for a roadie to go out with today. They couldn't find nobody.
Oh wow.
Absolutely nobody called back. Absolutely nobody to answer the call to be the tech to go out with today. Nobody. So he came and said, I guess you the guy. So what that did for me was that put me in direct connect with Teddy. Because as today's, pretty much I was not just a roadie, I was like the head tech and the production manager, all that in one, because it was just me out there with them. So I had the key to all the equipment. I had all the sounds from Teddy's sound, from Guy's sounds, and today's sound. And I had to be with Ted, you know what I'm saying, so that I can learn how to work this drum machine called the mpc.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that put me in direct connect with the person that I really wanted to learn from anyway, which was Ted.
Exactly. And something that small got you something greater.
Turned to a whole. So that's why I said within God's plan for me to be not in the band, but be the tech. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, me having the key to the locker, when we would come back in town, I would go to the locker and get the drum machine so I could practice, which taught me how to produce.
That's right.
Because I didn't know how to produce at the time. I didn't know about the drum machine. I didn't know nothing about none of that stuff. So I would go to the studio and watch them do things, but it's like, you know, I didn't know what they were doing. So I would just come back home and play around with the drum machine because I had the key. So like, it wasn't for me to be in the band. It was for me to be tech. You know what I'm saying? So that opened up all of the doors, which made Teddy remember me. They used to call me the best dressed roadie back in the day.
The best roadie.
I didn't know you were supposed to wear black, you know what I'm saying, and watch the equipment during the show. I just feel like, okay, once you set it up, it's ready. You know, like, hey, I didn't know. So I would set up, and I would go get dressed like the band. I would go get dressed, change out my clothes, and get dressed up. And guys just be like, wait, what's your man? What's up with your man? He getting dressed up. But until somebody pulled my coattail, it's like, yo, bro, you supposed to wear all black. You the road. You supposed to make sure ain't nothing going on. You ain't in the band. But you know what I'm saying? So before that, you used to call me the best dressed roadie. I was a boy. It's just a tickle me, but you know what I'm saying? I never had no problems with none of my stuff. It always was good. So that made Teddy come back, you know what I'm saying, in 92. That's why Ted called me back in 92. Because when my brother Mucho came up to Virginia, and he had a conversation, he and I had a conversation Teddy invited him to come up, and he was like, "Bro, should I go, man? Because the guys is kind of mad. Saying Teddy invited me up here." And I was like, "Well, man, you ain't doing nothing here, man. Go make that bread." So he got up here, and Ted was like, "Yo, I need somebody that that go on the road with Rex in Effect." He said, "Well, I said, oh, you remember Sprague?" He's like, "Yeah, I remember him. He available? Can he come up here?"
Mm-hmm.
Call me, and I shot up here, and I've been in Virginia ever since.
A rap, and that now it makes sense because now, if we're going into 92 and this is the big year of music, like I always say, this is the 30th anniversary of so much music that was coming out. I see the connection with SWV. So it's starting to make the connection that you were going to Virginia at the time with Teddy. Now I'm kind of picturing what was going on with all these hits about like how were y'all formulated to make this sound. So being with that, was that like your first placement? Like who was your first placement at the time? Was it in 92 or was it like going on afterwards?
My first real placement as far as with Ted was with SWV. So, but I did a record with the Hard Boys, which was an independent label in Atlanta that had national release. So that was a remix that we did on a maxi single that they put out. So that was technically my first placement. But then when I came here, my first thing here was SWV. I'm So Into You. And right here,
the remix,
the remix, which says a lot of controversy behind it. Who did what and did that, and saying I don't never all really say nothing because I try to stay out of the controversy. But there's an article when there's a post where All Stars talking about he go and he's at the hotel, he come back to the studio, and the player that Teddy has at the studio had something that I like and I'm cool. That's keyboard player is me. So what happened is Teddy ordered equipment for him to, try to tighten up what he had, like what he had initially. He didn't like the looseness of the drums. So you pay attention to the sound that we had. It was always the drums and the production was tight. So also I had a little more looser vibe going on. So he was like, "Yo, I don't like them drums. I don't like this." So the engineer was like, "Yo, you're a producer. Go in there and, you get it started."
Right.
So I got it started. I started putting drums in. I started adding the stuff that you hear. And my partner Mucho had already done things with Ted before when they first came down and asked him about the remix. So what you hear is a combination of what Ted did, what All Star did, myself, and Mucho. So everybody here, go crazy over, but that's how I got in, and that was my first placement. So of course I'm So Into You, that one as well. So that was one I got full credit on. The Right Here thing was like more or less as a sample, and I was like, whatever, it's all good.
I just hate that because at the end of the day, it's like no matter what is happening, I love the remix. That is one of the most iconic remixes. It just put SWV in like a universal space for them. You know what I'm saying? Because that was just so eccentric for all walks of life. But no matter what has happened, like with all you guys, y'all really made an impact with that song. You know what I'm saying? Because I just hate that the controversy is so crazy with that because it is a lot of stories with that, with what happened with the record. But I feel that, no matter what has happened, I just wish, hopefully one day we can all come together and just hopefully have a discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if the record is what it is at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody people that know Teddy and know the sound that we have, it's like, know the difference in, Rodney said it best. He might have did the remix, started the remix and had the remix started, but what was given to the world wasn't what he had. It was a combination of what we did together to make the remix.
Yeah.
So, and that's that explains it all. I mean, it's got the Teddy sound. You know what I'm saying? And that's that explains he's not the only person that know how to do it, but he's the person. He's the architect behind that sound, that sonic, how that plays, that tightness, that that you hear in that remix. You know what I'm saying? So,
understandable. Like I said, we just hearing from, like I said, all I know is I'm just hearing from people that was there. I'm just hearing.
I'm saying, I tell people because I said, you know, I was there for the whole time. You know what I'm saying? For the whole especially during that period. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we were still building. You know what I'm saying? The production team. It was like I said at that time. It was like myself, Ty Fife, Walker Scott, Mucho Scott. You had DJ Wynn coming in.
Right.
And, like was the crew at the time. That was kind of it.
Yeah.
Now we expanded from there, but like, you know, when I first came here in '92, that was it. I had Sample Dude on one side. I had my brother bass and drums on the other side. Keyboard heavy, you know, gospel kid that can replay samples, and I know how to do bass and drums. Right. So I was in a good place. So I always ended up on the remix somewhere.
Understandable. Well, I think that's a great place to be on part of SWB's legacy. But after that, I know you and Teddy, y'all work with so much stuff. So now we're in the realm going to the mid 90s makes sense. So being with that, like you going in big, you know, with bigger artists like with Michael and then Whitney with the Preacher's Wife, like Whitney Houston, my girl, R.I.P. to her. You did the Step by Step remix. I thought that was so dope. One of my favorites. That's like one of my favorite albums from Whitney Houston. Like the Preacher's Wife soundtrack needs to get a lot of love. And last year, that album made 25 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So being a part of that in the mid 90s, I kind of see how the way music was going on. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get to be a part of Usher's project? And this is his sophomore album. So how did you kind of, because we're in 96, 97-ish. So how did you get in, since you're already with Whitney with the Preacher's Wife, and now you're going with this young guy named Usher who just had his 94 album that wasn't that strong, but now you're going to his sophomore album, My Way. How did you get involved in that project with Usher?
Okay, well, that project was a situation where they wanted Ted to do production on the record. Ted has just signed a new deal with, you know, Interscope. So now you had two different labels, you know, saying, as an independent producer, you can kind of do whatever.
Right.
Kind of signed to a label. They don't want you to venture to other labels, you know what I'm saying, to do things with other artists. So they initially asked Ted to do a record. But the label was like, that's competition, and
because right now Diggity had just blew up too, and that was around.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's, you know, hey, he's a new artist, and it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, on a superstar artist, okay, we get it, but on new artists, hey. But so what happened is, like, Ted was like, well, they still wanted us to do a record, so he's like, yo, I want you to produce the Usher record. So Andy was like, yo, you want me to produce Usher record? Because at that time, I think Mucho had gone back to Atlanta. Ty had moved back to New York, so I was kind of like the head, you know, production guy at the time. You know, we had Wes and Eric Williams, who was on the record as well.
Yep.
So Eric was there, so it was like, you know, he's like, yeah, I want you to produce the Usher record. I can't do it. I can't produce a record, but I want you to produce a record. So we came up with the record. It sent Usher up, and you know, that's how we started, you know, to work on the record. So I was, you know, like I said, it's always a blessing. Like, you know, when God got stuff for you, He put you in a position.
Come on.
He put you at the top of, you know, so He don't put you at the bottom. You know, He put you at the top. You know what I'm saying? He put you at the top. You know, so it's like, so the situation was like, hey, you know, I need you to do this record for Usher, and it's like I said, we came up with the record, and that's how I got to meet him. So it's like, you know, it was a dope situation. You know, Usher was new. You know, say we all kind of green. You know, say ain't green, but we all kind of working things through. You know, saying he ain't a new artist. He had other artists, which of course Puffy worked on.
Yep.
He was transitioning. He was kind of being a young man at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was how we got into that project. You know what I'm saying?
It makes sense because when I listen to I Will, it gives me that, you know, that New Jack Teddy Riley vibe with the, you know, with the auto-tune and stuff like that. But like I said, for me, it was perfect because when that beat drops, when I heard that ding, I said, wait a minute. This it right here. I was like, this is the one. Because I mean, when I listen to the record, like that melody, that beat, that you can tell that's a real R&B sound type of music.
Oh yeah.
And when when I hear that song all the time, I hear a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for your kiss. I said, this is the record. I was like, this is the one. Like, I love Bedtime, but I like the live version.
Yeah, it pulls you in. I mean, when you hear that whistle and the bell in the front, it pulls you in.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say too. It does have that Blackstreet vibe, and it's kind of funny, like you just said, with Chauncey and Eric, you know, doing that. I want to give them a shout out because they definitely were a part of that record.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and definitely with that. But like I said, the sound you brought with them to blend it together, it sounds like it could have been from Blackstreet too. But
I mean, that's like that's the kind of like the vibe that's the kind of like the vibe I guess they were looking for, because they, you know, had heard some of the Blackstreet stuff, so they, of course, we looking for that sound. So
right,
you know, Eric and I actually helped produce the vocals together. You know what I'm saying? So you know, he was one of the main writers on the record. So Eric and I, you know, produced the vocals together with the auto tune in the talk box. You know, so the vocalist, which is
right,
what we use the vocalist. Initially, Ted did the original.
For real?
Yeah, he did the original because that was his thing. Was like once we had to actually do the song twice. We had to do the vocals twice.
For real?
The song different key.
It was who?
It was in a different key. It was higher. It was a higher key.
Oh, so, okay.
When we did the first version, it was cool, but LA was like, "Yo, I like it, but he ain't getting into it." So he couldn't get into it because the key was kind of high.
Oh, okay.
So they had us change the key. So in changing the key with the vocalist that you heard, the vocal that you hear now, when we changed the key, it was so, you know what I'm saying, in the 90s, it wasn't like we got Pro Tools. It was
right.
It kind of sounded crazy when we changed the key to the song. So Teddy and Blackstreet were out of town, so I couldn't get Ted to do it over. So I had to go in, and all the parts that sounded crazy, I had to go over.
You didn't went over?
So that really got me into doing the vocalist, because I used to, like, Ted used to kick me out all the time, because you know, when he used to do it, it's like when you're doing it live, you sound crazy, your voice sounds so crazy. So he would kick me out because I always, you know, I'm a jokester. So they'd be like, "Well, you sound like a shot moose."
Not a shot moose.
like kick me out, like get out. I used to be distracted because I'm so silly. I'm gonna start laughing. So he kicked me out. So when he went out of town and Usher was coming back, we had to have the toned down version of the song. So I had to go in with one of the engineers. The shout out to John Haynes, you know, saying mixer and editor extraordinaire. I had to go back in and do all of those parts over. So he stayed up with me for like almost like a day and a half doing vocalist parts, trying to make it sound like what Ted had done on the original.
Right.
But it came out good. So nobody knew. Ted didn't even know.
Well, it's my number one, so it came out amazing. Look. But I appreciate that because, like I said, now it starts to make sense how you said it could depend on the sound. That's what I was saying. Like with sound, when a person is singing, they have to blend with the sound so it can blend together with the words.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So when we dropped the key down, that made the difference in him being able to dig in the record more. So
right.
Because like, you know, it's like and this the end part that he had the problem with before. That part, right? So it's like, you know, when it's a higher key, it's like, you know, trying to dig in it's a little harder when it's a higher key, you know, especially so. But like I said, man, we had, like, you know, that was a good bonding moment with he and I, you know, saying when he came back, you know, saying the first time we kind of like did it and he left, but when he came back and we had to get into the record more,
right?
Like, you know, we sat down, we had conversations about music and about where he's going, and, you know, saying we talking about him being the next Bobby Brown. It's like, you know, saying, because Bobby Brown is doing all this craziness at the time, and it's like, and I'm like, yo, bro, you like the next Bobby Brown, like you that dude, like you dancing, everybody's on you right now, you that dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Sit into it. I mean, hey, you the new it guy, you know what I'm saying? Young solo singer, you know what I'm saying? With the swag and dance, you know, because nobody was dancing like that, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, yeah, you that dude. So it's like, it's like it was great to see him really sit into it, even now to watch him, and to watch the transition after we did that record, how you got into his whole dance and now the sing dance routine. And he really did become, the new Bobby Brown.
He did. I mean, you can tell with the live version, and it makes so much sense. And that's why with this album, you really made Usher a career. And that's why I keep bringing it up, because for me, y'all know, even though his first album didn't do great, it wasn't known, but with Usher, he needed this album to really come and shine through. And that's why when you hear the live version, he does a lot of Bobby Brown stuff with Tenderoni. I mean, like, you could tell he was in that lane. Rock With You. He just recently did Rock With You for Taraji P. Henson. So I can see the Bobby Brown influence in him, like that hip hop, with the hip hop swag, what Jermaine Dupri was doing. You give him a ballad, you know what I'm saying, with the mixture of the New Jack Swing. It makes perfect sense on what I see, what Usher was trying to do and vision for himself. And it makes perfect sense because when I think about this album, and I'm gonna shout out my friend JR, because he made me sit and think about it. And he told me that Jermaine Dupri went on Questlove's podcast. He said he wanted to be like Bobby Brown. And to me, My Way is the Don't Be Cruel for Usher. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. He needed this album to really break through. And when I listened to the album, it was great because it's a mixture of, like I said, at the time, the 90s, y'all was huge with R&B and hip hop. It just meshed together. It was match made in heaven. But when I listened to Usher's My Way, it was very different for what I think at the time the 90s was trying to bring. Every sound was coming. You know what I'm saying? But with Usher, with My Way, with You Make Me Wanna, with Nice and Slow, that's why I became a fan. Yeah. But when you listen to the body of work that he was doing, it made perfect sense on why he was trying to be like Bobby Brown. And that's why you hit it right on there. He wanted to be in that lane to kind of mesh the two together, but be his own person, to be Usher Raymond that we know now.
He became 𝗪𝗀. That's when he first came. He became 𝗪𝗀 at that point.
Right. But I feel like I said with you, and I want to also shout out my friend Ben on Can We Talk. He's on the live right now. They over here typing, laughing now, but they give you so much respect. We did a battle with Tevin versus Usher at the time. And I remember when Tevin, when I was super young, Tevin was coming out with hits as well. But I think at the time when Tevin's, success kind of slowed down, Usher came in the perfect time to come in and take the lane. You know what I'm saying? And that's why with this album, it's a masterpiece. And now it's 7 times platinum. Congratulations on that, Mr. Sprague.
Hey, listen, y'all on here, listen, we need to push that to Diamond because I want to talk I want to talk some real trash. Diamond, he's doing his residency too, so okay. Diamond, let's get it to Diamond.
Come on, Diamond said it exactly, and I have to definitely shout out my friend Ben. I remember when we did the episode, he definitely said for Usher, what my way was for him was the string of hits. It was a hit factory. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when you sit back and listen to this album, this definitely was a Don't Be Cruel for Usher's success. And
it like you said, it's the one that started it off. You know what I'm saying? He came out, he's 6-time platinum. Then we do.
Well, 7 now. You gotta say 7, not 6. 7.
Oh, 7 now. Yeah, I'm just saying. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Confessions go diamond. So I need My Way to go diamond too.
Right. and look, Sprague. And remember, I just told you it's crazy because, like I said, at 8, I listened to the singles, but I got the album the year of Confessions. Look how God worked that thing out.
Hey, that's how.
So for me, even though, mind you, I heard the singles, I didn't hear the full album until the year of Confessions. So, like you said, it was destined for Usher to be great. You know what I'm saying? It perfect sense.
Absolutely. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like he and I, like I said, when he came back to Virginia, he and I kind of hit it off a lot. You know, it was for his birthday party in New York, you know what I'm saying, at Tavern on the Green. So, so that was just a, a compliment to our friendship at the time. Came in, like I said, we were talking because of, like, to get into a record, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't talked to Walter Acknowledge at the time, but he always gave the, saying like, yo, when you're trying to work with a record, you want to have a relationship with people. You want to understand where they are so you can help get them to where they're trying to go with the record. So, and that was him telling me that later. So me doing that with Usher at that time, you know what I'm saying, for me told me that I was kind of ahead of the game, ahead of the curve.
Come on.
We talk, we sit down and we just kind of sit down and talk. Because I like the record. but he don't get into it. So, you know, my thing was like, yo, I gotta be able to get stuff out of him. You know what I'm saying? And me and Eric, you know, sit down. We had a conversation, and it's like, yo. So when Usher came back, you know, we just kind of like kicked it for a minute. We talked about things. You know, we talked about the Bobby Brown thing and where he saw himself in the industry, and so it's like, you know, that allowed us to get that relationship where he felt comfortable enough to trust us to push him a little bit farther than maybe he probably would have gone on his own.
Boom. And look, my friend in the comment, Ben, he said that's how you write with an artist and not for an artist. That's true.
Listen, I don't like it. Like, people ask me, like, you know, do you do a lot? I like to cater, man. I'm a cater person. I'm like, you know, saying custom. I'm a custom producer. I like to sit down with you.
That's right.
You know, let's get into you. Let's come up with some stuff that fits you, because I feel like that's gonna be the best for the fan and for the artist.
That's right. And then you're getting personal with them. So the thing about you building that rapport with them, it's kind of like, I guess what they call, like, I'm not saying trusting, but I think the thing about is you're building something where you can be trustworthy with the artist for them to open up and, you know, kind of see in the, like, it's like you're picking their brain. It's kind of like a psychologist. It's kind of weird.
Exactly.
You know?
You want to really get into their psyche, you know what I'm saying? Because,
there you go. Exactly.
Because they, you know what I'm saying, you didn't know who their influences are.
Right.
Who they listen to, what sounds they like, you know, where they are spiritually sometimes, you know what I'm saying, emotionally. It's like trying to get somebody to sing a fast song when they're super sad. It's like you're gonna be pressing the issue. You're not gonna get what you want.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? But if you write a slow song or a ballad and they kind of already in that little mode, it's like you can pull out that little extra emotion that they was feeling at the time. So for us, it was like, you know, for us and him, like I said, he was in a transitional period, and he was, you know, he grown now. He's trying to touch a different audience, and of course, Jermaine and the crew, you know what I'm saying, they're my family too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man, you still. Mm-hmm.
So you know, they were, you know what I'm saying, they were pushing that, you know, they was pushing that vibe.
Yeah.
Jermaine always gonna give you that, you know, that ghetto swag. He gonna give you that, you know what I'm saying? That's my swag. And so it's like, you know, that, and then like for us, it was more or less, cats was, like you said, tuning into that Blackstreet vibe that we had built. So it was like, for me, was kind of like, you know, sonically what, you know, where my sound was at, because that's the development that I was under.
Amen. Okay, and that's why it made, even though I may know it's a Blackstreet vibe, it's Usher, because Usher made it.
Oh no, Usher definitely did Usher on it.
Right, that part, exactly. Thank you so much. So I wanted to ask you, at the time when this album did drop, which is today, the 25 years ago. Wow, Sprague, it's 25 years old today. It's crazy. Look, I was 8 when this album dropped. But I wanted to ask you, what was your reaction when you did see Usher become successful? This album be a number 4 on the Billboard 200, number 1 on the R&B charts, and not even that, now it's 7 times platinum. How do you feel? What was your reaction when he did become successful and be the Bobby Brown of at that time in the 90s?
Oh man, I was proud. I mean, I was proud, you know what I'm saying, of him, you know what I'm saying, and him going through all the process, you know what I'm saying. And even to today, you know, listening to him, like, hey, he's like, oh, I'm the king of R&B, you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna get him the king yet, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But he definitely the prince, you know what I'm saying. He's the prince of R&B. I'm definitely gonna give him that, you know what I'm saying. You know, I gotta give Kels the king of R&B, even though I ain't agree with it.
I'm gonna let him pay. I'll give it to Babyface before I give it to him.
But you know what I'm saying. But he definitely the prince. I mean, he the king of his area,
his generation. I give you that.
He the king of his zone. Ain't nobody messing with him. He diamond. He you know, see, we about to be a diamond again. So
come on, that's right.
Let's talk it out there.
Today's the vinyl. Yes.
You know, and like, you know, say he's still, you know, say he's still standing the test of time, even through the Chris Brown thing. Everybody, well, Chris Brown gonna knock everybody else out.
Thank you.
But you know,
speaking Sprague, because you know, I had a war issue with people saying that Chris will take over before Usher. I said, y'all, Sprague, you work with Usher, you know.
No, Chris Brown is dope. Chris, as a dancer, I'm gonna give the edge to Chris Brown as a dancer. But
I do agree with that. I agree with that.
As an artist, nah. You know what I'm saying? Usher, it's like when you start to See, like once you work with somebody, you kind of see their growth.
Come on.
In the Confessions album, when he sings the Simple Things record,
rap,
he take what we did to the next level.
That's it.
As a vocalist, it takes something different for you to reach down inside of yourself and ravel off ad-libs in the manner of how he did it in that record. You got to be in tune with yourself and the flow of the record and your spirit and what you're trying to get off in a record. So he did it. We started it with us, and he was just being new. But when I seen him on that record, go to a different level. So it's like, you know, nobody, like none of these younger artists is even touching them on that level when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He has it. He understands. He understands now. It's like, you know what I'm saying, when you become a seasoned vet, you know what I'm saying? When you become a seasoned vet,
come on.
Nobody can't mess with you. You know what I'm saying? None of these old heads can mess with Charlie Wilson. None of them.
Now, you know, that's the king right there, Charlie.
Now, that's the king. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson. They can sit down. Charlie Wilson 100 years old. That's Unc. He will dust you off and put you under the carpet, okay?
Okay.
They go to the day. You know what I'm saying? So when you start sitting your own as an artist, you know what I'm saying, it don't matter who the competition is coming behind you.
That's right.
It's still a chasing your tail. You know what I'm saying? Usher's out skating, and I'm looking at the residents, he's skating, and he's having a ball. Like he's having a ball like it's, you know what I'm saying, it's 97 again, really. You know what I'm saying? So he's having a ball. He's enjoying himself, and it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Now he's in a situation where, oh yeah, we want a new record from him. I'm curious to see what the new record is.
Right. I'm a little nervous, you know. Like I said, I don't know what he's gonna do, but I know for sure now.
And if he ain't where it is, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna put my drop in the hat for the next one.
Please do, because we need
next one. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I took a hiatus as a producer for a little while, and just kind of like start, you know, really doing a lot of engineering stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just for the sake of, mentally I wasn't ready. I was going through craziness, but you know what I'm saying? So now it's like, oh, but I got a lot to go. There's a lot of stuff that, you know what I'm saying, people don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't even have idea, but you know what I'm saying? Like now learning so much more. You know what I'm saying? I have some good things to unveil.
And that's why I give you so much respect, and that's why I give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying, Sprague? Because it's people like you that I don't, like I tell people all the time, I've interviewed so many people. Like, I've interviewed Michael Jackson's choreographer. Like I said, I didn't even see that coming from myself. And I'm a little platform. But my thing is this, I don't care if you made 1 hit, 5 hits, 10 hits, or whatever. If you made a hit and impacted culture, you have set a precedence for yourself and your legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and regardless of what God, you know, things you're going through in life, I truly understand because I've been through things in my life. But when I see records like I Will and people that made a sound, because like I said, I'm a big producer head. I love producers with all my heart. I don't know why, I just love people with producers. I just love music.
Hey, we in the soul touch.
Yeah, the heart. And you know what's crazy? I told one producer who did Nelly's record, Dilemma, I said, one thing I learned about producers is music has to touch the soul, and that's what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for you guys to do that for yourself with Usher, you really, like you said, you put him at a lane for himself where he's really happy where he is in his career. You know what I'm saying? It's been almost 30 years, you know, since the first album, but for him, with My Way, he needed this album to really, really set a precedence for himself. And that's why I will call it the Don't Be Cruel, because for him, after that, he did 8701. Then after that, he did Confession after it was gone. But for him, he needed that guidance to really, really set somebody to help him and lead him. And you guys did this. You, Jermaine, Manuel, Chauncey, Eric, you know what I'm saying? And Sherry Blair, everybody who was involved. Okay? Everybody who was involved in this process, and Babyface, exactly, because Slow Jams, you know what I'm saying? That's the jam.
That's my other mentor. I never got to but that's like my
you never got to work with Babyface. You were close to 10.
Well, I got to work on the Tony Thompson record, but I didn't like on a one-on-one scenario. I'm still waiting for that. We gonna
we need that, sir.
Tune in on here. Your boy trying to get with you.
That's right. That's right. But I'm just truly proud, and that's why, you know, I give you so much respect, Sprague, and that's why I'm so thankful for you to come on my platform and talk about your story, you know, talk about for what Usher. But I am thankful so much for that. So I wanted to ask you, since you are a kingmaker hits, you didn't talk about so many hits you made for people, Tony Thompson and, you know, Usher, Michael, Whitney, and all these people like that. I wanted to ask you, what is the key to making a hit record? And if you know that, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
All right, so for me, is make it feel away.
You said make it feel away?
The record's got to feel a certain way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you if you're doing the record, like for instance, on Black Street they have no Diggity wasn't my that I picked.
I can't hear you. What happened?
So No Diggity wasn't the record.
You keep cutting off. What happened?
I said No Diggity wasn't the record that I picked.
It wasn't or it was?
It wasn't.
What?
I mean, I didn't do the record. I picked
right.
I picked to it. But on the records that I like, it make you feel a certain way. So that just like can resonate with the record. You know what I'm saying? So once you a certain way, then understand how it touches others.
Yeah.
That's like to picking the record that could be a because I still don't know if nobody
Sprague, you cutting out. They saying you're echoing on the live.
Oh, echo. Oh, I hear it. I do it.
Okay.
I don't got that on it.
Okay, I can hear you now. Look.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, when records speak, they resonate spirit. So you know you get see how it feels for other people. You know, I feel like that's one of the to picking a hit record. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel. So than that, who picks a hit? Like I said, I didn't pick no Dick. And sometimes I listen to it. What is it about this? Crazy.
Is that me, Bill Withers?
But Rum said, you know what I'm saying? Joy and Go. Those records I knew hit records. It resonated a certain
right.
So that is how you pick a hit. Now
uh-oh. You said what?
I can't really pick one.
That's crazy. I asked every producer, they tell me they cannot pick one. It's funny. Y'all do not pick one. It's funny. I get it. They all mean something in the time of your life.
Yeah, I mean, have moments that so I can't necessarily I love a boy or the other one. Unfortunately, I think
you said what's Bragg? I can't hear you.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I just be wanting to see because I want to understand from you like why a certain record would hit a certain way or why does it feel. But like I said, look, somebody said they all like your babies. Yeah, so you can't just pick, you can't pick one. You love all of them.
It's like a step-by-step record. Felt really great. And then like from doing a gospel with the Queen.
And you met Whitney, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So,
I heard she the realest too.
Oh yeah, she's the man. She's cool. And then I got to go, like doing my love with Mary J. Blige. Was another thing.
Yeah, what's the 411?
You know what I'm saying? Coco with working with Coco, it's like all these different people. You know, they touch you different. So I can't say felt better than the other one.
Right.
You know, now a single for Michael Jackson, one single, so like maybe. You know what I'm saying? If I had opportunity, baby.
You said what, Sprague?
I said if I had that opportunity to produce the record for Michael Jackson, then maybe. If I had the single, then it might be Michael Jackson. Maybe.
Right. Well, you had the king of pop and the queen of pop, so you're good either way it goes. Well, thank you so much for that. So I got a question to ask you, sir. Since today is the 25th anniversary of My Way, congratulations. And not even that, congratulations on the reissue of My Way, the vinyl. Yes, it is out in stores right now. Make sure y'all go copy and pre-order it. I wanted to ask you, Mr. Sprague, if you had to describe one word about this iconic 7-time platinum album that was on the charts for 79 weeks, one word would it be?
You said it already.
What?
Iconic.
Oh!
I mean, hey, listen, we started it off. So if you don't got no 80601 #𝗵𝗶𝗶, you got the record. So hey, we started, kicked it off. Nice. You know, we kicked it off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just love that he did something that the top did sales wise. You know what I'm saying? So hey, that's a testament for what we.
That's right. I agree 100%. Yeah, because it's so funny that you said that, because like I said, if it wasn't for y'all, he wouldn't have his career. You know what I'm saying? And it's not saying it negatively. It's not at all. What we're saying is what it was. Usher needed this album to really push his career.
Right. We gave
I call it the comeback kid album. It's the comeback. You know what I'm saying? Because and that's why I'm thinking in my brain too. What it did for Usher's career was a year started him to become who he is today. Be our Michael Jackson of our time. Be of the time where he wanted to be in that Bobby Brown element with that. Because we know at the time when Bobby did King of Stage, it wasn't a hit. But when he did Don't Be Cruel, it was a wrap. Usher's first album was not a hit. But when he did My Way, it was a wrap.
Rap after that.
When I see you make me want 10 weeks at #1 on the R&B charts, it was starting his success. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I feel like, and I always say this too, even though I love, the singles, the album cuts make a great body of work, because you have to have I Will, you have to have Bedtime, you have to have Slow Jams, you have to have the meat of the album to understand why the album is so great and iconic. Because for that album to gain 1 million more this year, and to reach all walks of life. And like I said, I've asked people that weren't even thought about when Usher was born, and they love Usher. So for Usher to really gravitate to people to this day, and I hear you make me want it everywhere. I've heard it at fast food restaurants. Yeah. I hear it at the mall. You make me want it is that joint. But for me, what made me a fan was Nice and Slow. Because Nice and Slow, when he had the bridge, when he said they called me 𝗪𝗎, I said, that's Usher. But what I love about Usher too, Sprague, was I love his ballads. His ballads really, really make him really, really a balladeer type of guy. And what I love about I Will was, even though it had that New Jack Swing Telly Wiley-esque, I know Usher from this record because he made it his own. And that's why, to me, I love I Will, because I Will is #1, even though I love Bedtime, but Bedtime's not the live version. So even with that, I love I Will, because once that beat drops and he starts those lyrics and what Chauncey and Eric them did, I said, this is the one. This is the one ballad I do love the most.
It was supposed to be a single. It was supposed to be a single, but
for real? Wait. It was supposed to be a single?
The guy that wrote 𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗆 thoughts,
yeah,
held the record up and we sampled this record, which didn't.
You lying.
But we had so happened. That's why I didn't make the live.
That's why I was mad too. It was on the damn live album. I said, what the hell? I'm like,
we had a technical problem that did 𝗵𝗶𝗆𝗆𝗆 thoughts. Oh yeah, y'all sampled. Yeah, we never sampled it.
They don't
even. So that took it from being you know what I'm saying, and then took it off of the live. They didn't want to put the album up. You know what I'm saying? With
so
that.
I have a question. Is there an actual live version of I Will?
No.
What?
They didn't have I Will because the sample was holding the stuff up. So.
That's some good. See, now I be talking about shit like that. Excuse my language, but I'm just being honest. I'm like, come on. But you know what? It's all right. You 7 times platinum, so it's about to go diamond in about a year or 2. So don't even worry about Sprague. You good. You good. Right. That's right. But you know what? I always say this. Every setback is a huge comeback. So at the end of the day, you have the last laugh because now you're still the one with the success, and you still, and like I said, Usher has re-released this album, so you are fine either way it goes. So no matter what has happened, I'm truly proud of you, and I truly have so much respect for you. So thank you. But I wanted to ask you, what current projects you got going on? I think you talked about it earlier. What was the projects are you doing? Are you working with new artists, or you backing up R&B stuff? What's going on with you?
I'm working with a team of writers, and we're working on stuff. We're doing some missions. One of my team is Lisa. She's doing a lot of TV housewives. So my little crew is putting it together. Put some stuff.
I can hear you.
I said my little crew, we put some things together, and we're in the shed right now. I got a new project.
You said what? I can hear you.
The Black Street. After they get done with, I got a song on there.
They coming out with a record?
Yeah, we got to do project they working on.
Okay.
I got a song. Might have a couple. But right now,
that is dope.
And I'm getting ready to get my business partner. He's a juicer. So drop a juice line.
That is dope. Look, see, Sprague, you still making an impact in this industry. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, R&B is with you. It's all about you, but it's gonna be with you forever. Like I said, for you to do stuff for Usher, it goes to show you that now he's definitely a legend. You have definitely made him an icon, and I'm super proud of you for what you have done for yourself and your legacy. I want to ask you, do you have any last words before we end today's live about the anniversary or anything you have to say, and proud or anything you want to say about for Usher or everything you did for yourself?
Well, I want to say, bro. So he's doing his resident. Like I say, you see like he did it again. So I'm always proud of that. Proud of the legacy that we. And I'm happy about where the future is.
Amen.
They trying to bring R&B. Some of the essence of R&B ain't with nowhere. But say we go dancing, learning how to talk to.
Right, we need that.
Instead of just up. Learn how to talk. Bring this. When I was young, we did girl.
Right.
You got your playlist. You know what I'm saying? You do your little song playlist for your boo. We need to bring that back.
We need to bring all that back.
We need to bring all that back. Get the society to be thing. As a guy, you know how to with the female. They're just being so. Everybody want to be a everybody want to be a thug.
And thugs love R&B too.
Okay, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm just and absolutely totally for on the platform. So this has been a blast. I like telling my story. And what I'm saying, so look out for Doogie and Team Vega.
I seen that. I was like, you better promote that.
You know what I'm saying? My juice line is called Creative, and it's about elevate. We always do things to create, like smoking, but like my juice line is around elevate, healthy for yourself.
That is dope. That is super dope.
So look out for that. You go see Vega. Follow my page.
Oh, you know I follow you. Look, I follow both of them, so you good for me. Look.
If I don't even follow 𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗏 Pro.
That is so dope.
Saying if you ain't follow that. And you know what I'm saying, count for me. I'm in the stem. You know what I'm saying? We got some super exciting things.
Yeah, you better, because look, I said, look, the 2022 is almost out, so we got 2023 and years ahead, and I'm so proud for you, Sprague. And then, you know what? I forgot one more question I want to ask you, and this is going to be the last one. Since you have been in this amazing legacy in industry for yourself, is there any advice you want to give for up-and-coming artists, producers, or anybody that is trying to get into the industry like you was, but not that just really help them and learn about what this industry is all about?
Two things. Study the past. And the next thing. What's the best thing? Study the past. And don't be afraid to. You know what I'm saying?
You said don't be afraid to what?
Don't be afraid to take the chance. Obviously, all the time you gotta jump. I tell artists this all the time. You gotta jump. Edge of making things that can make your life dreams come true. Jump.
Come on.
A little bit. But what you come out with at the end can be iconic in life. Not only just yourself, but for others.
And we're going to end that right there. Y'all, we are done with my beautiful interview, y'all, with a multi-platinum producer, engineer, the young doctor of music. This guy has made some legendary stuff. Y'all, please follow him. Please follow all his social media handles that he just said today. And make sure that y'all go stream. They've been streaming crazy of Usher's My Way, and shout out to Usher for seeing us on the on Insta story today, Sprague. So I made it.
Yo,
you know, but I made it in the way.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Right. Thank you so much, y'all, with the legendary Mr. Sprague Doogie Williams. God bless you, Mr. Doogie. Yep. Everything you need me, anything you want me to support with your music, I got you. I'm here to support you. And like I said, just need me. If you call me, just need me. I'm here for you.
You know you
there. Oh yeah, your family. We here. Look, we like Usher. We like Usher. We here.
For sure.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Y'all have a blessed night.
God bless.